Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking you guys through my March wrap up and April TBR. So I want to give a word of warning for my April TBR. It is currently the 10th of April, so we are a little bit into the month, meaning that I will be talking about a book I have already read and a book I'm partway through, but the rest are kind of possibilities or plans for the month. But without further ado, let's just get into what I read in March. So these are my March reads. So let's just go get into it. So The Rest is History by Tom Holland and Dominic Sandbrook. Now, this isn't focusing on any particular period of history. It's about, they're podcasters and they have a very wide range of things to kind of comment on about history. I have a signed copy, which I'm so proud of. And honestly, it's about anything. There was the most disastrous parties in history, and things like The Greatest Escape, and just giving their 2 cents on the most ridiculous things as historians, and it's great. I gave it 4 stars or something like that. I just had a really good time. If you didn't know, I'm a history student, so things like this are right up my alley. I definitely want more historical nonfiction to be on my radar, and I am very much a fiction reader, but I feel like nonfiction gets so neglected, and I just need to embrace it more. So yeah. The next book was A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This book was great. It's a YA about a kind of magical school, but it's very unsupervised, very unsafe. I'm definitely going to be continuing this series because I want to know why it's there's just something off about the entire school, and there's a lot of unanswered questions by the end. So you follow Gladiol, and as she kind of navigates herself through, I think she's in her junior year, and because she's kind of got a target on her back because she's kind of friendless, and it's not kind of safe to be friendless. But she isn't as friendless as she thinks because she develops connections with people throughout the book. So it's really interesting, and I would definitely recommend A Deadly Education. The next book is a 5-star from me, The Will of the Many. So this is a Roman-inspired fantasy book set in kind of an empire that's modeled after the Roman Empire. It's very much a anti-colonial, it's all about, it kind of gives me Babel vibes in the fact that there's a constant kind of feeling conversation going on about the necessity of violence and kind of, are the people fighting against oppression, are they going too far? Like some people are saying, or is it perfectly justified? That's the question that's asked in here, just like is asked in Babel. And you can see our main character being motivated by the pure frustration, and and you can kind of feel it grating on him just as the events of the book unfold, and the more he's used by the people around him, and the more is uncovered about his backstory, the more you're kind of like, yeah. It gets to the point where he's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't even defend these people I've been defending my whole entire, I've not used violence against these people, but I can't justify not using violence against them anymore. Like, I am done, they've pushed me to the brink, I am broken kind of thing, you know what I mean? So I would definitely recommend. You've probably seen The Will of the Many going about everywhere, and I would definitely recommend you picking this up. I loved it. I think this is going to be a part of a series, and I'm really intrigued about James Islington as a author as well, so I'm definitely intrigued to pick up his other works. So yeah, that's something I'm definitely interested in doing in the future. So yeah. And then we had another, I was always to say another first time author, which is true. I've never read a Hafsa Faisal before, and I definitely think I'm very intrigued to as well. I've read this kind of back to back with Will of the Many because I was doing a kind of 5-star predictions. I gave this 4.5 stars, so it came very close. I think my only gripe with it was that it wasn't long enough. Like, I needed the kind of like padded out fluff. Like, it didn't feel like the story had a beginning and an end. It didn't feel like it had much of a middle. And, you know, as someone that's trying to kind of tried their hand at writing themselves, I can definitely see that kind of coming up with a middle is incredibly difficult, and it's incredibly difficult without making it have too much fluff, too much unnecessariness. Like, if you like writing that's, like, the writing was beautiful, the characters were amazing, the story and the setting is amazing. I don't know, I feel like my complaint might be a bit kind of mute by the time the other books in this series come out, because I feel like it is a part of the series, which is why I'm kind of reluctant to say, you know, there isn't enough there, because this is only the first book, and I did read it like just after it came out, because this only came out in February, and I read this kind of at the beginning of March. So, well, the beginning half of March, I believe. So yeah, that's my only thing that I would say. But it was absolutely amazing. I would definitely recommend it. I don't know if it's just because of the speed I was reading at that I felt like it didn't have a beginning, middle, and end. But yeah, 4.5 stars. Like, that's amazing. Like, if my only complaint about a book is that I didn't feel like I got enough of it, I feel like that says something, you know, that says that, like, the book's amazing, you know what I mean? So, and then we had One Day, and One Day was a part of a very unfortunate project that did not come to fruition. It came at a very bad time. It was kind of an explosive time for me in my personal life, and the project was book to movie adaptations. I had this lined up along with The Book Thief and Good Omens, which all have adaptations, and I'm just very sorry to say that that project just did not come to fruition. Out of those books, I did only read One Day. Like I said, it just came at a very bad time, and I was just struggling to read anything. But I did really enjoy this. I enjoyed the adaptation that I watched as well. The new series on Netflix, I did really enjoy it. Incredibly flawed characters, with an incredibly kind of shocking and soul-destroying ending. If that sounds something up your street, I would recommend One Day by David Nicholas. I gave it 4 stars. Then we had Days at the Moritaki Bookshop. This was kind of a short little book that I bought on, like, during March, that I kind of just picked up almost right away because I was trying to go through the adaptations, but it just wasn't working, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a break from that, and I'm gonna just read something nice and short to kind of just get me back into the flow, and this definitely did that. It's only, I think, 150 pages, something like that, and it was amazing. It's a lot about, it's set in Tokyo, Japan, and it's about a bookshop, kind of a familial connection between a niece and an uncle when the niece is kind of at her lowest, losing her boyfriend, losing her job, losing kind of her mental health as a result. And she goes to her uncle's bookshop to kind of find some perspective, and she's reluctant and she doesn't believe this is going to help her, but it does. And she kind of finds where she belongs in kind of the process. So I'd recommend. And then the final book, well, I technically finished the last couple of pages on my way to Inverness on the 1st of April, but technicalities, okay? Most of this was read during the month of March, and I'm going to claim it for March. The Picture of Dorian Gray. This book, one of my favorite classics, 5 out of 5 stars. It's all about vanity, and if you don't know what The Picture of Dorian Gray is, it's about a young man. He's literally 19 or 20 years old. I can't quite remember. But he's got these older friends, and one of the older friends is a painter who paints a picture of Dorian. And this picture just shows the kind of like unnatural beauty of Dorian at its like height. And Dorian gets quite upset, saying like, I'm not going to look like this forever. And he has this like pure breakdown about the fact that he's going to age, and he makes this kind of like declaration that, he would do anything if the painting could absorb his sins, his aging and everything, if he could stay as he was forever. And you kind of see the consequences of this, and you see the consequences of vanity, of denying aging, of denying your sins, of basically behaving badly. And yeah, it's so interesting. One of my favorite classics. I believe this is the only novel Oscar Wilde ever read, ever wrote. So I would definitely recommend this. One of my favorite classics of all time. So in total, March was a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 books. That's not too bad, considering the absolute mess that I was during March for like the majority, like 3 weeks of March, where I was just in a constant battle of reading and personal life and things. So I'm going to take that as a win. So that's my wrap up for March, and let's go and have a look at my plans for April. So I've changed position a little bit because I wanted to be a little bit more comfortable, but these are the books that I plan on reading this month, in the month of April. Let me just get them in order, because I want to go through them in order. So the book I've already read this month and completed is The Last Witch of Scotland by Philip Harris. I'm really excited about this one. I feel like this would be a very good recommendation for anyone that wants to explore more about the kind of nature of the witch trials, the way it's affected, and it's very good at bringing it to us and not something that's far away in a past that doesn't affect us anymore. It's very good at bringing it into the future, the future of them, but our present, if you get what I mean. It's a very important part of Scottish history, and I would just very recommend. It's very informative. I feel like someone that reads this would get something out of it, definitely. Anyone that reads this would get something out of it. So yes, and I'm in the middle of my Jane Austen project, so keep an eye out for that vlog. But I'm currently reading Emma for that project. Emma is obsessed with matchmaking, and it's kind of just, you follow Emma and her kind of interactions with everyone else in her little village and her friends, her family, and the dynamics of all of that. And I have her own there's a lot of romance discussed, and there's a lot of themes in this, like gender, social class, and it's so easy to see why this is a classic. So I don't want to say too much on it because I do have a whole like series planned for Jane Austen, and Emma's going to be in the first installment, so look out for that. And then we have Honey Spice by Bela Babalola. I'm holding it the wrong way. This is about Kiki and Malachi. They're on the same campus. She's got this radio show. He's kind of like the playboy. And it kind of all folds from there. And I want to read this while I'm away in London. So yes, I'm excited about this. And another book I want to read while I'm in London is God Killer by Hannah Keller. I have not read a fantasy in like a month. So me and fantasy need to get reacquainted because it's been too long. This is about Kissen, whose family was murdered by God, and she becomes a god killer. I think there's some queer undertones, so I'm excited about this. And then when I come back, I'm going to be picking up my Jane Austen vlog again, and I'll be reading Pride and Prejudice. If you're annoyed that my two Jane Austens don't match, it annoys me too, hence why I went and ordered a matching box set of all 6 of Jane Austen's works, so that will probably be featured in the vlog where I get the matching set. So it is coming. And then what I'm doing after that is I'm going to be doing a little other project, which is a history student reads historical fiction for a week. And the 2 books I have set aside for that is Hamnet and In Memoriam. In Memoriam is set in World War I. It's about 2 young gay men. They're very, like, things aren't going well for them. I think one of them's half German. And obviously that's going to be quite a turbulent time for anyone with German ancestry or any connection to Germany. And it's a very, I feel like the In Memoriam just kind of gives you the idea that this is going to be the type of book that's going to rip your heart out, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then to go, another book that's probably going to absolutely have me sobbing is Hamnet. I feel like this is based on actual events that happened to Shakespeare, and kind of what was going through his mind when he wrote Hamlet, and kind of give context to that. It's 1596 and Stratford upon Avon. There's a young girl, her twin brother Hamnet is ill, their mother Agnes is away, where for medical herbs, and their father is away working in London, and neither parent knows that Hamnet will not survive the week. So yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna rip my heart out too, so I'm really excited about these. And then another project I thought I would do, another vlog, is read one of the most controversial yet popular books on my bookshelf, The Da Vinci Code. This has been on my radar for ages. I feel like it's one of the most sold books ever. It's definitely up there. And it's also one of the most controversial. So I feel like this would make some good content. So I'm really excited about reading this. And then lastly, I'm putting this back on the TBR because, like I said, I want historical fiction to take more of a like prominent place in kind of the genres that I'm dipping in and out of. And I feel like if you've been watching my channel and watching my TBRs, you're probably sick of hearing me talk about this book, but it's funny, it's historical, it's by David Mitchell, and it's about the history of England's kings and queens starting with Ethelbert of Kent, I believe, and ending with Where Our Monarchy Is Today, and it's hilarious. I've read some, like, excerpts, and yeah, I feel like this is going to be a good one, a real good one. So we have all this to get through this month. Will I get through it all? I have no idea. I sincerely hope so. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm certainly in a much more reading mood as of late than I was last month, so I have some hope. I do have some hope. So, with all that being said, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you for watching my wrap-up / TBR, all-in-one kind of video. I hope you're all doing well, and I wish you guys the best reading month for April, and I shall speak to you soon.